Due to massive multiversal crossover type stuff in recent S-type comics, characters that we've seen in the animated series or characters that thought we would never see interact with canon comic characters, we get to see them actually interact with canon comic characters because the whole multiverse has everything in it. Like they literally show the different universes in these comics, like different Earths that are different by a lot, where technology ages slowly or faster. Some realities being vastly different. Do you remember Batman Beyond, the animated series set in the future? Apparently a possible future of how the Justice League Unlimited universe would end up like. Superman was, of course, is still alive and is still ridiculously strong in this universe. But would you have ever guessed we would see this Superman in a big crossover event to where you literally see him right here? Who else could that be? We see him actually fighting Anti-Monitor with the other heroes and doing a decent job at that, pulling tubes out, punches, cracking his armor, just craziness. Oh boy, I hope you guys enjoyed this vid. Superman. The Superman that's a part of the shared DC animated universe that we all loved when we was younger, right? Even newer content, like the newer movie Justice League vs. the Fatal Five, he's technically a part of that too. And even comics. He's the Superman that people assume has never thrown a kick when he has. Have you ever wondered how strong he is? He's powered by the yellow sun, and he can be supercharged. Similar to comics, under a yellow sun, he gets ridiculous godlike type strength, speed, and all kind of stuff like flight, heat vision. He has super breath in this universe too. He even has cold breath. X-ray vision, you already know he got that. Even as a teenager, he had this kind of stuff. Notice how they zoom in his ears, implying super hearing. You know he has the standard weakness like every universe, as kryptonite being his weakness. That's why you see him wearing the suit from time to time in the show to protect him from the radiation of his kryptonite. And he has his own spacesuit too. You guys already know the deal. Thanks to the yellow sun, it gives him tremendous super strength, along with a whole bunch of other abilities. He might be the strongest Kryptonian in this entire animated series. We've seen him box it out with two Kryptonians at the same time, for Pete's sake. I mean, he literally made Supergirl night-night, but look how he punched her that hard. Made her drowsy. When we're talking about speed, I'm talking about reflexes too. You can get an idea of his speed by how he can make his own little miniature tornado. It comes in handy when you're super strong and can fly, so you can lift big stuff like this. This version of Superman even has BS abilities, like on occasion with mind control, of course. Enough of you have to remain solid to keep your atoms in contact with one another, implying that he can hit intangible form John Martian the Manhunter. Okay, with a thunderclap. And gets in a full-blown fight with Martian Manhunter? Yeah. But of course, this mind stuff, they ended up breaking free of it, of course. But yo, that's crazy. He was able to hit an intangible Martian Manhunter. And then technically in this universe, he has a possible future in Batman Beyond where he's still thriving. I mean, usually I don't really add possible futures to feat videos, but I thought this one felt appropriate because the DC animated universe Superman actually met his possible future self with the same outfit to kind of prove that this is canon. And yeah, so the power level should be similar. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of lore to dig from, so let's get it. There's implications that he does get stronger as time goes by, even in this continuity. When it comes to him getting older, one could say he gets stronger.
Stronger every day, Pa. Stronger every day, Pa.
That could kind of explain on why he might struggle in certain seasons, but in later parts of the universe's lore, he might be able to do something better. That could be writer intent and a lore explainer on why in later events in comics and later stuff, later movies like this, for example, he might do some more absurd stuff throughout his career. You get what I'm saying? Stronger as time goes by, character evolution, power, strength evolution, speed evolution, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea? That could be an explainer for that. You know what I mean? He's bulletproof just like every iteration of him. When we're talking about his speed, he has reflexes on that level of speed. And he has your straight line speed and pretending to be Batman, moving ridiculously fast. Like this, burst speed. He doesn't really need running speed, but yeah, he can run fast without necessarily flying. First off, his fingers shot off to sling beings that are 300 plus pounds like a gorilla that far. What do you think his actual biceps and stuff can do? Big old sharks, get out of his way. Of course he can lift up a car. I mean, cars are light to him. Even two cars. He can lift up both at once. Like lifting vehicles is easy to him. See this van-like thing he can lift? We see him lift a helicopter, having the strength to toss it. More helicopter lifting. Bigger vehicles than cars. Like trucks he can just lift. Buses. Stuff that has to be way bigger than him, he still can lift with ease. We've seen him lift and use trees like a baseball bat. Things that are taller than houses he can overpower. It's obvious he can lift over 10 tons. He's effortlessly lifting and putting his plane down safely. Lifting planes is just his theme. That's something he's done several times. And he can actually just rotate an entire plane with his super strength. You guys know tanks can weigh 60 plus tons and he can lift those Stuff like this prove he can lift 60 plus tons. Support. What's up with this Daily Planet globe always falling off no matter which form of fiction we're talking about? And Superman has to lift it up. Like, this has to be at least 100 or 1,000 tons. He just casually lifted up and put it in a way. Thick concrete, he can lift this big, obviously. There was this press. You guessed it, he can overpower it and jam it up. Notice how he's having a conversation with these beings while just throwing that to the side like it ain't no big deal. We see him actually support the weight of a train, literally more powerful than a locomotive. We've actually seen him slow down a train with his strength. Big BS like this, you see the size of all this compared to him, like it's large. Buildings can weigh thousands or even over 100,000 tons, and it's pretty much confirmed he could lift this much weight. Proof of him being able to lift hundreds of thousands of tons is his occasion him lifting up this cruise ship that was sinking. You know how cruise ships can weigh crazy amounts of weight. There's cruise ships out there that can weigh hundreds of thousands of tons or even hundreds of thousands of tons. So yeah, he can definitely lift up buildings. Seemed like all that pressure in one spot would just cave in parts of the cruise ship though, you know, cartoon logic. Yeah, so this Superman does indeed lift, bro. Lifting thousands of tons like it's no big deal. We've seen him lift meteors that were heading towards Earth with speed, so it obviously weighs more when it's coming towards the Earth with more speed. And he was still able to redirect such weight. By flying upward, you see a chunk of it break apart. Moving asteroids. You got Adventures in the Comics, Moon Madness, for example, where we literally see Superman alongside John Stewart, Green Lantern, of course, of the DCAU. They literally, like, working together, move the entirety of the moon on this panel. You see the discomfort in his face. Like, they literally, legitly move the entire moon. Say John Stewart did half, then Superman did the other half of the weight. That means DCAU Superman can lift planetoid type structures like the moon, or at least one could say half the moon. Meaning he can literally lift over quadrillions of tons, small planetoids, half the weight of small planetoids. You get the idea. You're probably thinking, oh, he had help doing this. Well, that's still impressive, even if he did have help. Help or without help, this is still a retarded feat. I mean, this literally means you can literally put a city on his back and he would be able to withstand the weight of it and lift it up. Or you could literally drop the weight of multiple continents on him and he should technically be able to support that level of weight. Ain't that crazy? Having the strength to move the entirety of the moon. Crazy, right? Like, you got handbooks like this that literally show or stated even more that he has the raw strength to move Earth's moon. So it's not my opinion. They literally show this same scan right here in comic lore. Justice League Unlimited, he can move planetoid structures. So imagine what his punches feel like. Like, the comic literally didn't explain what this was, but like, literally, Superman, what are you doing? Like, what is this you're pushing with super strength? I know this ain't no darn sun. I mean, they didn't say it or nothing, but it's just like, what is you doing? It was in this issue, but like, they didn't really show what Superman was doing, but like, it looked like the way the color was colored, it looked like it was a sun or something, but like, I don't want to speculate too much, but I mean, we know he's went through his evolution. There's a possible future of where he does similar stuff when it comes to this moon moving stuff. The Batman Beyond crap when he's a little bit older. In the comic lore, he's ridiculously strong. There was this moon that was literally made of kryptonite, like literally a moon. He had to push such thing away from the planet with his absurd strength while wearing a super suit, of course, pushing it into the sun. So he can still move planetoids even at an older age, apparently. Still has the strength to move moon-sized structures, even at an older age in this DC animated universe. Possible future. I mean, Superman has been dubbed in this universe as the modern day Heracles, aka Hercules, the deity, god of strength in Greek mythology. It was literally stated here in narration that he is the most powerful of all our heroes, Superman of this universe. So that's clear writer intent. It was literally stated in narration because, mind control stuff happens a lot in DC. They were no match, even though this is freaking Wonder Woman and Captain Atom. Even Zatanna's on the ropes, who's a magic user. It's literally stated he's considered one of the three mightiest beings in the Justice League. They're talking about Captain Atom and Wonder Woman and him. He even calls himself one of the three strongest beings. Yeah, he's not really trying to brag or nothing. He's just worried about people's safety. This can give you an idea of Superman's might. There was this thing that wanted to possess the strongest thing on Earth, and Superman was the thing that can make ashes of the entire world. This is like a mixture of his strength and speed. When you put all these factors in consideration, he can punch really hard, obviously. That's why you see him just easily fly through rocks. He can spam punches that shatter boulders over and over again. We've seen him punch through thick doors like that. And this is what happens when you put him against Batman. Villains like Bane. Yeah, he's pretending to be a Batman here. Something all powerhouses do, doing the thunderclap he does is to blow away all this. Even his possible future self can still do stuff like the thunderclap to make a big shockwave. Punch and send super beings like Lobo, who are strong, flying through buildings. Darkseid's son Calibat, we actually seen him completely overpower him just in all aspects of super strength. In one of his battles with Darkseid, it's proven that he can hit really hard to mess up the big part of the street, shaking multiple buildings, making a huge crater, punching straw beings like Darkseid through multiple buildings, punches making miniature earthquakes in the vicinity. Like, you know how DC has a multiverse that's different universe versions of the same characters we love, possible timelines, possible futures. We got alternate reality versions of the same characters, like the Justice Lords, for example, who lost their universe version of Flash. You got the main one. They're pretty much identical when it comes to the super people, the Superman of this universe and the Superman of the main universe. We've seen this version of Superman clash with Doomsday, making helicopters fall over and buildings tremble. We've seen a main Superman actually punch a being through a building and collapse it. So it's pretty much proven with a single punch, he can just obliterate a building, level the building with a punch. Did I mention there's a lot of different powerful beings in this universe? Even his very own Justice League teammates who are ridiculously strong. For example, like Wonder Woman and even Aquaman, who can actually rival each other in hand-to-hand when it comes to punching strength and just strength in general. There's implications this Superman can just one punch him, so there's a gap between them, one could say, so at least on dry land, because Aquaman specializes in water, of course. And it's moments like this that prove he can level a mountain, because he made a ginormous crater that's wider than the pyramid. Like, yeah, knocking out Grundy doing this, by the way, showing he can use his speed in combat to hit hard. Like, pyramids are solid, thick structures, but he can make craters even bigger than the entire width of the pyramid, so let you know he can hit really hard. I'm talking about pyramid destruction type strength, punching strength, based on this explosion he created, flying down with that much force. It's like Superman's the principal and Grundy and Aquaman were the key. It's Superman villains like Mongol, Wonder Woman, we've seen her punch and hurt her own hands. It's implied that there's a decent gap between Superman and Wonder Woman. She was pretty beat up after fighting Mongol and was about to die, it looked like, until Superman comes, especially when Superman's mad. You get to really see the power gap. Look what he does to Mongol's face with punches. We've seen him take on full-blown blasts from powerful beings like Brainiac and deflect the blast back at him and punch him. Remember how I brought up him being able to move the moon? With help, of course, half the weight. You know, him and John Stewart, Green Lantern, moving the entirety of the moon itself, literally away from the planet. This should technically translate to how hard he can hit, because if he can exert this much pressure without even making his fist go at super speed, imagine how hard his punches would hit. Him flying at you, trying to hit you with his true force would feel like a moon slamming on your face, basically. Let's not get hit by somebody that can triple the entirety of the moon, or at least half the weight of the moon. I mean, this is not BS, because look, there's threats they be fighting. Like, you see Superman down here, right? Like, they're fighting a threat as a leaguer together. This being apparently can hit with the force like a planet falling on you, or the force of a whole planet hitting you. Like, that's what Wonder Woman described it as. Beings like this, Lantern, Superman, and them have to face. Beings that can apparently hit with planetary type force. Like, we know planets vary in size, but like, usually moons aren't considered planets. Like, they're smaller planetoids, usually considered something a planet if it's at least Earth size. If we take this literal, that would be like Superman and them can fight beings, combat against things that can hit with the force of a whole planet. Earth falling on your face. I'm just saying. His other Justice League members like Green Lantern, who are ridiculously strong, we've seen him overpower his constructs and strike hard enough to break his constructs in a training session. The same John Stewart that can make constructs that are strong enough to withstand attacks that have the power output of an entire star, you know, and kind of implying planetary eccentric busting type of force these characters have to shield from. And we know Superman can overpower these Green Lantern shields because Superman. Like, we literally see Superman overpowering or fighting multiple Green Lanterns at the same time. So, you know, yeah, he's a top tier, even compared to Space Police. I mean, you already got to worry about his physical strength, but his blast can damage you. Like here, for example, when he gets hit with big impacts, he states it tickled. You can also get an idea of his strength by how durable his body is and such. Like, this newer centric movie that's set within the DC animated universe, Justice League Unlimited universe, has more feats that imply planet busting or way above it type stuff. Like, I don't need to keep reminding everybody that the size difference between the sun and the earth it's like not even negotiable. Like, Superman of this universe withstood a blast, point blank, of something that was going to actually obliterate the entirety or rip apart the star. Meaning for his body to be able to withstand such pressure, and the fact he didn't even get knocked out lets you know his durability. He can withstand stuff way more than planet-shattering, earth-shattering impacts. You can literally fit 1,000 Earths inside the sun, and his body can withstand such BS like this.
Destroy their sun. We destroy the sun.
And how exactly do we do this?
The eye. It contains all the power of the Lantern's battery. It will rip that infernal star apart.
This ball that has the energy to rip a star apart, like his body is right next to this. And the explosion was that wide, and he was right next to it and ate it. You see how the sun starts being green, implying it is going to rip it apart. It did stagger him for a bit. The sun was literally about to be ripped apart if it wasn't for this guy stopping the Starboy, a different character. Keep in mind that Superman is like, seems to be as good as new after such a blast. Like, that's easy. This kind of says a lot about how hard he can punch or kick or whatever, or strike in general, because he can hit and hurt beings that have similar durability to himself, similar endurance to himself. Their skin is similar in durability to himself. Like, he can fight beings, punch them and damage them with his punches. People that have similar durability to himself. Beings that can damage him, we can also see him. His punches or blasts can damage beings that can kind of affect him. So it lets you know that his attacks should be similar. They have to be similar. Planets and stars vary in size, but let's be honest, if he can withstand blasts without really losing consciousness from attacks or shockwaves that can rip a star apart, his punches bare minimum has to be on the Jupiter level, way above Earth shattering level at the least. Since we know Jupiter's way bigger than Earth, his punches have to be similar to Jupiter falling on your face or some crap, or a smaller star or some crap. Or his hits could feel like the sun itself falling on you. But it's without a doubt he can do earth trembling. If his body can withstand stuff like that, and he can damage beings similar to himself, it just makes sense that he can punch with earth trembling might as a form of disrespect, because he technically should be able to hit with sun trembling might, but that's none of my business. Matter of fact, his punches should feel like this many earths smashing on your face, basically. The weight of all these earths coming to your face if he just wanted to go all out and hit you with his full-powered punch or fist. His possible future self in the Batman Beyond universe that's a little bit older, who went through similar events as these ones, we actually seen him in a crossover event because of multiverse stuff. We've seen him actually help punch Anti-Monitor, like, yeah, top tiers, cracking the armor and such. He's actually been in crossover events with the main continuity characters, helping fight Anti-Monitor, DCAU Superman cracking the armor of Anti-Monitor. That's something we thought we would never see, but it happens. You guys know the distance between Earth and the sun is a vast distance, right? You have to be pretty fast to get from here all the way over here pretty quick, right? Remember this eye I told you about a little bit earlier about how he can rip a star apart? Superman had to walk this thing down even though it was already basically at the sun. Like, we literally see it. Like, Superman can't even take off afterward yet. It's already gone. Like, you talking about a head start to the sun. This has to be a faster than speed of light type feat for him to fly from the Earth to the sun. He's so fast, and he basically pretty much walked this crap down in raw speed. So yeah, he's faster than the speed of light by a large margin. Had to walk that junk down in like, what, less than a minute or 2 minutes. There's really no exact math to it because, you know, the thing took off screen and then it was, you know, he basically walked it down. I mean, his raw flight speed had to be going far faster than the speed of light. There's no really other way to slice it, really. You see his combat speed deflecting bullets with one hand here. Even in the possible future, he's still technically a fast being when it comes to just sprinting alongside other speedsters, of course. I mean, what do you guys expect? This guy's invulnerable to all different types of elemental type attacks. Like just chilling in lava and just fighting. You can't just go in his mind and mess him up with psychic attacks because he can resist that and still attack you with a finger flick. May not be the strongest Superman in the multiverse, but he's dang near stronger than you originally thought, ain't he? I mean, the guy's got punches that can cause tsunamis, punches that can tremble stars themselves, or even bigger planets that are not quite as big as a star, destroy a planet like Jupiter or Saturn, planets bigger than the Earth, things in that neighborhood. But what do you guys think? But before I get going, thank you to the donators. It helps out a lot. You probably didn't know he was this strong, but respect Superman from the Justice League Unlimited saga. Them comics get kind of crazy. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.